Hello, our friends. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again, it is time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was Dynamic Effort Bench Press Day. But just a quick reminder for those of you who enjoy these videos, please click like down below. Help me keep the likes higher than the dislikes, and if you guys could click like on my other video for the day, it would be greatly appreciated. But over to the training. I increased the band tension a little bit more. Also, just due to the heavy band tension, instead of doing the 5, because I'm not an elite lifter on the bench. Okay, I don't have an elite bench. I'm still a bit off from that. So I'm going to run the programming a little milder. I do run out of steam against the heavy bands. So I decided to do 8 triples today instead of a 5x5. And for those curious on the band tension, I am running 165 pounds of band tension. You can see the rogue writing on the band. It's not hard to figure out for yourself off their website what it is. But for people who don't want to check, it's 165 pounds. Basically, I'm doing 300 pounds for the top third to half of the rep. So why the heavier band tension? Because I need more tricep. I need more lockout strength. I need to be able to explode through the top. Okay, I get plenty of speed off the bottom. So because my weakest link really in the benching has been my lockouts, and I do want to experiment around with my different bench grips. I might start maxing on different ones over time and get everything kind of dialed in terms of just figuring out how large my strength discrepancies are with the different grips. Even though I'm strongest with the closed grip, it doesn't mean I can't test different grips. Okay, and that's the take home there. Doesn't mean we can't test the different grips for maxes. It's just that people might be disappointed because I might hit something on a closed grip and then I go hit a wide grip and it ends up being 10 or 20 pounds less. People are like, oh my God, you lost strength. But I'll have to clarify that in the vlogs. And, you know, we'll just deal with that as it comes. But because of that, I'm doing a lot of my training based around the fact that I know I'm close gripping and I know my weak links and lockout. I'm faster out of the bottom with the close grip, but even when I was doing wide grip, my lockouts tend to be really, really difficult. They tend to be slow. So we know I need more tricep. But I'm going to build everything. We're just going to build everything top to bottom. I'm putting a heavier focus on triceps. But I need more muscle through all my bench press muscles. Let's be realistic. Mass moves mass. There's a reason I'm good at a lot of the lower body lifts and at deadlifting. Look at my back and look at my legs. Okay. It's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out why I have a mid 500 squat. Look at my quads. Look at my back. It's easy to tell why I have over a 600 deadlift. So we've got to bring up the arms in general, but triceps, delts, pecs, and we just have to build the whole thing. I can put the extra focus where it needs to go. I can put the extra focus where it needs to go. Right? We can train our strength curves where it needs to be. But the hypertrophy, I need to hit everything. Okay, I need to hit everything, and I'm going to be doing that here forward, and making sure of it, and leave nothing out. Pec, entire shoulder structure, not just the front delts, triceps. We'll continue to hammer the upper back, which is a weakness for me and other stuff. But when I say upper back, we mean the whole thing. We do erectors and stuff with good mornings. We'll build the entire trap, rear delt, infraspinatus, lats, everything. We need to build it all. Okay. Because it is limiting my squat, and to some extent can be my bench. We need to get that pop out of the bottom and that tightness out of the bottom of the bench. So everything's got to be trained. I'm going to put a little more emphasis on triceps, though, in terms of my bench muscles. Now, all my shoulder girdle's going to get built just because I need it in general. Right, I don't have the most massive delts and stuff. So the YouTubers and people with bigger delts than me. Now there's other reasons for that. They're like, oh, that guy's natural. There's nobody natural on this platform. There's nobody natural in the industry. You guys need to drop that nonsense. You really do. It makes you sound ignorant. It makes you sound childish. Your natty heroes are oftentimes on a gram or more. Okay. They're not even low dosing. Get over it. There's a reason a lot of these guys got massive delts. big old round cap delts. Okay, particularly when they're not even peeled. When you're leaner, your delts always look a lot bigger. But I've got to bring my delts up. So after the speed bench, I'm like, well, let me try this weight with the bow bar, because I got it the other day for, I think, nines or tens, I'm not sure. I'd have to check my notes. After a max bench, I couldn't get that today. It was like 8, and then it was like 6, pretty much failing. So I know my strength isn't back. Like after rehabbing that shoulder, I do not have the strength in my shoulders and everything. The shoulders, I could really tell the difference. I haven't rebuilt that strength while I've been rehabbing the shoulder. Again, why I don't do pull-ups anymore. You know the stupid thing? Part of me laid in bed last night saying, man, I wish I could work chin-ups back into my training. Knowing that chin-ups and pull-ups pretty much irritated my shoulders to the point where I've lost progress. It's the way the brain works sometimes. We're stupid like that, aren't we? Myself included. Right? Myself included. It's like, I wonder if there's a way that I could do them. Yeah. That won't inflame things. Maybe if I just learn to keep the scapula down and don't protract them at all and just skip the bottom third of the movement. Oh. But these were tough today. So I could look at this rep work. Now, the speed benching fatigued me tremendously, by the way. It fatigued my delts, upper chest, everything. Massively. So I was going into these very fatigued. And that could be a factor. But the reps that I got on these tells me, we run that over by what I maxed with this bar, that 352 that I maxed with this bar with the same grip a month ago. Actually, longer now. Going on 6 weeks now, isn't it? Yep. It's very clear that shoulder strength isn't quite there. So we've got to build back to that. And I'm still working around the inflammation of the shoulder, is that it's moved through into other parts of the shoulder. And I do smaller movements and mobility stuff all day, all the time. I'm working that all the time. But I definitely still feel it a bit. So, but it's only the right one, interestingly enough. The left one is the one that was hurting me originally with the chin-ups, by the way. And then when I did all those heavy pull-ups, it shifted to the right after I'd completely healed the left. So after that, I'm like, let's do some dips. Now, I have all this stuff. I'm like, it's kind of hard for me to get my position on dips. Sometimes I'm too low. I'm like, wait a minute. I can avoid hitting my head on the pull-up bar and turn these differently if I just turn them to the sides, but then it's like that post is in the way, but I could stand on my things. I can climb up on there like in a dip station, and then I don't risk stepping on or hitting that leg. Right? And I can get the bars higher up off the ground so that we don't hit anything. Because if I put the bars that high inside, turned in the middle, I'll hit my head on the, you can see already there. I'd be hitting my head on the pull-up bar. We went for sets of 10. I think the last set I didn't quite get it. So even though I wanted 10 and ended up doing 8 with the other one, we got 6. So this I pretty much hit failure. But I did speed bench and I did close grip bench first. So I'm going to be fatigued going into dips, especially with a 55, considering I weigh 221 right now. I'll be fatigued for sets of 10. But we'll work dips. Why? Because I feel dips in my pecs more than any other exercise. Like, they really, really, really hammer my chest in a different way. Dumbbells and stuff could be similar, but I don't have dumbbells. And the chains will skip the stretch at the bottom. So I'm like, this will give me a good stretch reflex in the chest. It's still a great tricep exercise on top of it. So I can use it as a mass builder again. I have to keep the close grip bench in, though. That close gripping, I feel like, really carries over to my bench. This is just a general mass builder for all of that, because I need more pec, tricep. And dips are a real good way to go. So for now, and I've been thinking about what all I need to do. It's like, if I need some tricep specialization, why don't we just use close grip benching and dips and variations of them? I have different bars. I have chains, bands. I can do all sorts of stuff to vary this up to avoid accommodation and overuse. Close grip benching and dips. pec and tricep right there, and then throw in extensions. Now, because I have all these chains and accommodation, I can do stuff like this. I can do tricep extensions in a way that doesn't inflame the tendons because the weight's unloaded mostly at the bottom. I mean, there's still 20 pounds of chain on each side at the bottom, but that's not much. It's not much at all because we're locking a lot more. We're getting a lot of chain on there at this point. For those curious, there's on each side there's two 17.1s and a 12, plus whatever the weight of the other little minor hardware is. So that's pretty minimal in the grand scheme of things. So it's like 34.2, 46.2 pounds per side. And I did sets of 12. I think one or two of them I got 13. Trying to hammer that lockout. And that instability against that lockout, that makes it hard. And, some people, you'll see some of the guys do that, and you're like, well, what benefit could there be from that instability? Well, because it forces you to stabilize. And a lot of times we get some instability on the lockout on a bench. If we grind a max bench, it can be difficult to stabilize. So we get the benefit of the accommodation to be easier on the elbows, to work the lockout harder, which is usually where that muscle is strongest on a tricep extension. Okay, we're stronger there mechanically. So by doing straight weight, we're technically working that area less because we're working everything at the bottom, which puts more stress on the elbow, which you can get away with for a while. Like a lot of people said that, why can't we just do Skullcrushers forever and build massive, strong triceps? Well, we could if they didn't beat our tendons up. It's the overuse issue on the tendons that you eventually run into problems with, say, Skullcrushers and JM press. Stuff like this, we largely reduce that. And I can run these for definitely a phase. And if I have to, I can work JM presses and reverse band JM presses, whatever we need to do to hammer that lockout strength, because I need that lockout strength on the triceps. All right, the close grip benching and the dips are working the heck out of my triceps. This hits a whole different element. And so 5 sets of this, and today it was, roughly 12. We'll call it 12s. 5 sets of this to finish those triceps off. So speed bench, 3 sets of close grip, 3 sets of weighted dips. Obviously, we'll just call it close grip. It doesn't matter what bar we use. We rotate bars around. Okay, we got a lot of chest in there, a lot of tricep in there. Everything got hit very, very effectively. And I don't feel my triceps as much on those other movements, so we know that we need extra tricep work always. But I feel more chest and front delt and upper chest and all that on those other movements than I do triceps. So we just come in and we hammer those triceps. And I'm hammering the weakest point in my benching on the triceps, making sure that we're working the lockout. Making sure. Okay, this is again some of my tricep specialization. But again, if we need tricep specialization, but we need to build all the benching muscles, the close grip and the dip are real good choices. And then finish up with different forms of tricep exercises. And this is what we're doing for now. I brought my grip in. Why? I definitely need to keep my lats growing. And I've said before, well, my lats grow from the wide grip. Yeah, not the same. I can do more reps and it's a longer range of motion, which I need the extra grip training. I need to do these every workout again until my grip is caught up. Now, this still hits the upper back very well. All rows do. I'm not worried about specializing on the upper back with my rows now because I just need to build it all. Let's just get thicker and stronger. I need the grip training from the axle bar. I can get more reps and for a longer range of motion. That's better grip training. Okay, I'll do these every workout for 5 sets. Because I'm doing other rear delt work and side delt work and everything to work that whole upper shoulder and back area. So I'm still doing upper back specialization while doing these this way. Because I'm doing all that other work, which you guys will see in the session. There's no point in me doing the wide grip on this. I get better overall training doing this because, again, I can do like 3 more reps and the stroke is longer. Moving my body through a longer range. Okay. And so therefore we also get the extra grip training. This is one of my key grip trainers, is doing these with an axle bar. Right? I need that grip to come up. That is holding my deadlift back now. My deadlift has been climbing again. I mean, we're trickling back up. I say climbing. I mean a 10-pound PR off of a deficit versus your last max is climbing. For an advanced lifter, considering my deadlift is now elite, I'll take that. But we've got to keep pushing it up, and grip is limiting me on the deadlift. My grip is my limiting factor. This will fix it. Okay. This will fix it, in addition to working my other weak links. Then we did my plate raises. I did these last time, but I got them up to 20 instead of 15. I know it's only a 25. But this is deep in my workout. My front delts and stuff are fatigued. Now, people will say, well, Jason, you need all the side and rear delt. Well, I'm going to do 5 sets for each of those also. Actually, an exercise that technically works both of them, but with more emphasis on each one on those movements. So those are coming up too. And then I can always do band pull-aparts and stuff for the rear delts. But, keeping in mind, if I do 20 sets of inverted rows every week and 10 sets of rear delt flies, that's a lot of rear delt work. My rear delts are growing. I can see them in the mirror when I've looked. They're definitely getting bigger. So we'll balance it out, but I have to make sure these front delts get worked. Let's come back over to the point. I need my pecs, my entire shoulder structure, and my triceps as big and as strong as I can get them. That is the only way my bench is going to ever reach a respectable number. And by respectable, you guys know what I mean. We need to be elite on the charts. Not advanced. I'm deep into advanced. We need to be elite. And the bench is so heavily tied to muscle. I've just got to bring all these muscles up. And it doesn't matter that I'm slowly losing weight. And you guys see the loose skin at the love handle there. But notice the area I'm slowly getting leaner. It takes time, especially if we're trying to make gains while doing it. And people have to keep that in mind. And I'm not trying to get bodybuilder ripped. I don't care. But I do need to be leaner. Make me a better athlete and be healthier. Be better for weight classes. So yeah, we need to build all this up though. So front delts, interior deltoids are going to get some separate work. They're going to get some love. And you know what? Delts are extremely volume resistant. Delts tend to have a very, very high maximum recoverable volume compared to other muscles. So we'll come in and we'll work all 3 heads. Work all 3 heads. And we can use a variety of different exercises. I can come up with different things to do based on what I have. But I need my entire trapezius, all 3 heads of my delts. Right? You need that upper, lower, and middle trap to grow. So all these movements are hitting all that stuff. Okay? You just got to build it. Got to build it. The only way my bench is going to go up, and realistically I'm at a point where my squat needs the upper back. My quads are not limiting my squat. You could argue some of my lower body might be, but I've got to get that upper back stronger, the ability to support it better. Of course, I need stronger hips. There's a lot going on there. But the upper back is ultra high priority, and the whole shoulder. But, again, making sure the interior deltoids are getting work. I need them stronger. The only way to get a muscle stronger is to make it grow. These are always awkward no matter how I do these. I did 5x15 with the chains. The chains make it hard, but again, it gets the job done. I don't have the dumbbells to do this. I would need adjustable dumbbells and things, and same with my kettlebells. I have individual kettlebells. I don't have sets. So I have to do one arm at a time, which takes forever. And since we're doing all this other delt work, I'm not overly worried about this being perfect. My side delts are getting worked on the other 2 movements. We're just making sure they're getting trained. Yes, the chains are hard. Maybe I could lighten this back down further and see if I could get my arms further out into a T. I could think about it, but I don't know that it's necessary. I'm pressed up against the thing. I'm leaned over slightly with one foot on top of the bench leg. You guys can't see it there. But that's why I've got the bench up. It's so that I can stand on it and then lean against it a little bit to help keep my torso from moving. So yeah, my arms might swing up a little bit against the chains and stuff, but I'm keeping my torso from moving, so I can't use a leg drive by standing with one foot on the bottom leg of that bench down there that's on the ground and then pressing my chest against it. It eliminates torso movement. Okay. And these are always going to look funny and a little bit awkward because I'm using chains and the chains swing. But Again, hammering the side delt, hammering the upper trap. We need all that to grow. And of course, it works the other stuff. Lateral raises, I mean, we think of them as a small movement. But when you start looking at the data, they actually hit the front and rear delts reasonably effectively. The upper trap and the side delt, though, is really where they shine. Even the upper trap, like they hit it almost as hard as strokes. I mean, if we take EMG data at face value. I'm not saying we always should, and I'm not saying that's all we're doing for traps, because look at all this other stuff we're doing. All right. Even my speed pulls with heavy bands hammered my traps. So we need to make sure that the traps get built. And this is a good exercise because it'll kill two birds with one stone. All this stuff is technically hitting the trap, so in different ways, all these delt movements. And all these delt movements do hit the entire delt. They're just very, very emphasis different. And I'm trying to pick different movements intentionally. So I even grip the handles differently on each one. So the plate raises, I'm using a completely different grip, right? Because I'm pretty much in a hammer type grip. These I'm doing, again, hands down, loose grip on it, holding the handles, right? And then when we go to the ones on the incline bench for the rear delts, which is basically a rear delt raise, I'm doing an overhand grip. So it's very similar to how a lot of people would do their face pulls, like how you see a lot of people, including like even Jeff Cavalier, recommend a grip on a face pull. I'm doing these similar to that. But with the chains, we have that instability pulling us. So again, we have, because of the angles involved, changing the hand position. I'm trying to make sure that I'm working the delt from a wide variety of angles here. So trying to make sure that these three movements are very, very different in the way that they hit these heads. And so we're trying to get some varied focus. And I did these for sets of 12. The others were 15s. I just used the same weight. If I wanted to get them more reps, I would have to go to the next lighter chain, which would take 5 pounds off the side. These are the 17.1s instead of 12s. And people ask sometimes, how do you come up with that math? They're 5-foot sections of chain. They're 5/8 chain and 1/2 inch chain. Okay, chains are standardized in America. There's laws in place for standardizing them. Industry standards. 5-foot long section of chain, which is what these are, run into thirds. 12 pounds for the smaller chains, and then for my thicker chains are 17.1. I have 6 total of the 17-pound chains, and I have 4 total of the 12. So I've got a lot of chains, and that's not counting all the different lead chains, which I can add up to tune stuff. So I mean, I have a lot of chains, guys, especially with the several sets of lead chains and stuff. I easily have, I think with all my lead chains added in, I have like 170 pounds of chains. I've got a lot. So we can do a lot with the chains because of that. So I do. I don't have dumbbells, but I got these dumbbell attachment handles. And I've got all these chains. Use what we got. So I only have 1 pair of dumbbells that I've had forever. But good workout. Everything was hit really, really hard. Hopefully we'll get some good growth from it, some good gains from it. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.